What's up YouTube, Deaddraw here. Today, Phantom Nightmare releases for all OTS stores and Friday everywhere else. Let's do the before you can buy. Alright guys, so Phantom Nightmare has released. Hopefully you guys all did good on your sneak peeks. Now, let's talk about the set. Alright guys, so first off, I want to talk about the two fire cards, Promethean Princess and Snake Eyes Poplar. These cards are absolutely insane. If you thought fire was dominating before, get ready. These cards bring these decks to a whole nother level, helping the Snake Eyes strategy so much. It's gonna be insane, okay? So be prepared for a big meta shift. You're gonna see a lot more fire decks. Even though you're probably already seeing them, you're gonna see them a lot more, and they're all gonna be stronger than what they previously were. Now, about keeping these cards, I do think that Promethean Princess will go down slightly. I think it's going to be about a $40 card in my opinion. This will take a few weeks for the price to drop because we have like the YCS coming up, and a lot of people are going to be wanting them for regionals. So I do think this is going to drop to be about a $40 to $50 card. Currently, I think it's sitting around 60. So that's kind of my opinion on that. And then Snake Eyes Poplar. The thing is with Poplar, the same decks need Promethean Princess as Poplar, but Poplar seems to be a little bit less being pulled. The thing is I think out of 150 cases there was like 474 Poplar compared to 572 Promethean Princess, which is like 100 copy difference. So we are going to see Poplar probably be a little bit more. Like I said, it's 150 cases, that's 1800 boxes, something like that. So I don't really see these I don't see Poplar moving a whole lot. I think it might go down. I think it's sitting around 70 USD. I think maybe it'll be a $60 USD card, but I don't see it dropping too much down. It could get closer to the price of like Ultra Fenrir when that was its only copy. I'm not 100% sure. Obviously everything is just speculation, but that's my opinion on these cards. If you want to play them, obviously pick them up. I don't think waiting for that is going to make a big difference. If you're going to be spending the $1,500 on the Snake Eyes deck, I'm sure you have the extra $10-20 to throw out for the Poplars now than waiting them for the drop, maybe a couple bucks. So that's just kind of my thoughts. The next thing I want to go over is the next best deck. So Voiceless Voice is a new deck that gets introduced to us. This deck is actually pretty solid. It's really good for a ritual deck, and it can actually set up some very good disruptions with a very little combos. It's not like super combo heavy, and it's a pretty good deck overall. So I would definitely pick this up. I think that picking up a core of this and holding on to it is really good, because unfortunately with the fire decks being so strong, Voiceless Voice is going to kind of be under the radar a little bit. Don't get me wrong, I think this probably is a tier 1 deck and something that you should be prepared and watch out for, but I think that once the fire stuff gets hit a little bit more, this deck will become a lot stronger, and you'll see it in the meta a lot more. Voiceless Voice is a really good strategy. Go and check it out. I'm not going to get too much into the strategies, but I think these cards are worth picking up. If you can get a deal on them, pick them up now and hold on to them. I think these will go up eventually, just because that the deck's going to be better later than it is right now. Now, the Goblin Bikers are a new archetype that's based on XYZ summoning your own monsters, but it also includes detaching things from your opponent's XYZ monsters. This deck is actually like a solid deck. I wouldn't say it's tier 2, maybe closer to tier 3, a higher tier 2. The thing is, it's very going to be like a format dependent deck. If the format brings a lot of XYZ decks into it, I'm sure this deck's going to go up a bit and can do a bit more things, right? It's about it counters XYZ decks. That's its big thing. With all the decks in the format right now are more focused on links or synchros. I think this is kind of going to take a back seat, but if you want to play it, it could be a lot of fun. It's something that's going to be cheaper. I think this is not a bad thing to invest in. Who knows, maybe they get some wild support. I don't see anything, but I definitely think this is a decent one to get, and it could be a lot of fun. All right, let's talk about the Ashen cards. Everybody was hyped for this new TCG exclusive archetype. I think that they missed the mark a little bit. It's the Year of the Fire, and they made a Pyro deck that is Darks. you missed the mark a little bit. I think that this would have been a lot smarter of them to, like, you know, work into the wanted engine and stuff like that, and have another deck surrounded, you know, with fire that can be involved in that hype. Making them all dark monsters, I think, was just missing the mark a little bit. Though the cards aren't bad themselves, right? We can still search it with bonfire. There's some search targets like that, and the cards are decent. The thing is, I think they need another wave of support that's going to be really good. It's kind of like when we got B Troopers. I was really hoping, you know, the first wave of support, all the cards seemed pretty good and they did stuff, and then the second wave of support, it was like, why did they even go that route, or what were they thinking, what were they doing? It didn't really like do much to add much to the strategy. It kind of just added like its own little gimmicks that like are really hard to make, and nothing. I think all those cards were like really solid on paper, and then the second wave of support was just bad. So it really depends on the other wave of support here with the Ashen cards. So I think that, you know, if you want to invest in this one, I would wait a little bit, get those cards to drop a bit, because I do think they will drop. They're not going to be really meta relevant at the beginning or anything like that. So, you know, I would wait a little bit and pick them up. So that's my opinion on that. Like I said, we really need a second wave of support that's going to be really good cards for these guys. Okay guys, the last card I want to go over is the Blackcloak Laughs. I think this is one of the better cards in the set. Now, it's kind of like a Prohibition. It works a little bit differently, but it is pretty solid, especially with Laugh being able to search stuff like this and just end your opponent's turn. So its first effect is you declare one monster name. Neither player can special summon cards with that monster's name for the rest of the turn except from the graveyard. And then its second effect, it's banish itself from the graveyard and then declare a monster name, and neither player can activate monsters with that name's effects for the rest of the turn. So overall, it's a pretty good card. It works like Prohibition, but you can do it twice, and it doesn't, you know, it's not a continuous. It's as soon as you activate it, it goes off. So there's no way for them to get rid of it or anything like that. I think this card is a pretty solid card, especially like I said, you know, lab players being able to search it and set it and basically get a free turn could be really good at times. Now, there's also cards that help the Goaty strategy and the Floowandereeze strategy. I don't want to get all into those. Now, overall, I want to talk about the set and is it worth buying? Honestly, I am probably not buying any more of the set. Now that is because I have everything I need from the set. I already have my fire stuff, so I'm personally not getting it. Do I think it's a bad set to buy? Absolutely not. I don't think it's a bad set to buy, but if you're buying it, I'd be buying it now rather than later, and then selling the stuff now rather than later. I would, you know, and that's coming from if you don't want to play fire and stuff like that. If you want to play fire, I do think that it's really a decent set to buy. You can buy your singles, of course, but buying a box gives you that chance of opening the Popular and the Promethean Princess. Now, I got really lucky and I pulled both, and then I only had to get one Popular. Now the thing is, it's not everyone's going to be that lucky, but you know, there's really good cards in the set like Voiceless Voice and stuff like that, which often can be traded for the stuff that you need. So overall, I don't think it's a bad set to buy. I wouldn't be buying a whole ton of it though, in my opinion. I would say, you know, buy a box or two, and you know, at retail, but if you're able to get it for something cheaper, I would say that. But I think the set is a really good set, don't get me wrong. It's just, you know, I think that it's very specific for people's needs, if what you're wanting. Okay, so anyway guys, please comment, like, subscribe, and we'll talk to you later. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, all that kind of stuff really helps out. I really appreciate it. And down below you can see a list of things that are coming up.